30 months. Gross motor. Sub-skill jumps forwards over a rope. 2. A rope. Test and judgment criteria. 1. Lay a rope on the floor in a straight line. 2. The examiner demonstrates how to jump over the rope and asks the child to do it. Pass. The child is able to jump over the rope on the floor. When the child lands, it's unnecessary for both feet to touch the floor. Gross motor. Sub-skill, throw a small ball over arm. 2. A soft ball. Test and judgment criteria. The examiner demonstrates how to throw a ball forwards. Hold the ball in the hand. Lift that arm overhead and backwards, and then throw the ball forwards. Pass. The child is able to throw a ball over arm. Fine motor. Sub-skill stacks wooden blocks, cubes 8 stories high. 2. 8 wooden cubes. Test and judgment criteria. 1. The examiner demonstrates how to stack 8 blocks on top of each other or asks the child to do it. 2. Give the child 8 blocks and let him or her stack them. Repeat the test 2 more times. Pass. The child is able to stack wooden blocks 8 stories high, once in 3 attempts. Fine motor. Sub-skill gives an object to the examiner as instructed. Knows the quantity 1. 2. 3 wooden blocks. Test and judgment criteria. 1. The examiner places 3 wooden blocks in front of the child within reaching distance. 2. The examiner holds out a hand and says, "Give me 1 block." 3. After receiving a block from the child, the examiner puts the wooden block back and repeats the instruction, "Give me 1 block." Pass. The child correctly gives 1 wooden block twice without trying to give more blocks. Receptive language. Sub-skill pays attention to a story for 5 minutes. 2. A storybook for young children with pictures and 20 to 30 word descriptions which can be read within 5 minutes. Test and judgment criteria. Persuade the child to look at a book and proceed to read aloud. Or ask the parents whether the child is able to pay attention to a story being read for up to 5 minutes. Pass. The child continuously listens, looks at, verbally imitates, and or verbally responds within the 5-minute story time. Receptive language. Sub-skill correctly places an object on and under as instructed. 2. 1 wooden cube. Test and judgment criteria. Hand the wooden cube to the child and instruct to put the block on the chair or table and put the block under the chair or table 3 times by alternating on or under each time. Pass. The child can correctly place a wooden block on and under twice out of 3 attempts. Expressive language. Sub-skill speaks up to 2 meaningful words continuously by correctly using at least 4 verbs. 2. A doll. Test and judgment criteria. Make the doll perform several actions, for example, sitting, walking, sleeping, running, and then ask the child what the doll is doing, or observe while assessing other skills. Pass. The child answers by using up to 2 word phrases with correct verbs. For example, doll or she sits, doll or she runs, she walks, she sleeps. Personal and social. Sub-skill sings some words of a song or hums a song melody. Test and judgment criteria. 1. The examiner chooses a song that the child is familiar with and sings the song with the child. 2. If the child doesn't sing, the examiner asks the parents if the child is able to sing some words at home. Pass. The child is able to sing some words or hum along with his or her parents. Personal and social. Sub-skill waits for one's turn under guidance from an adult. 2. 4 wooden cubes and a bowl. Test and judgment criteria. 1. The examiner holds 2 wooden blocks, cubes, and gives the child another 2 blocks. 2. The examiner puts a bowl in front of the child and says, "We will take turns to put a block in the bowl. I will put one in first, and then it's your turn." 3. The examiner observes if the child waits for his or her turn. Pass. The child is able to wait for his or her turn when told.